I started this YouTube channel 7 months ago and I've already put hundreds of hours into making those videos. Sometimes to get only a couple of views, sometimes a little bit more. And it's been a hard journey. But the reality is, starting this YouTube channel has been hands down one of the best decisions I've made in my life so far. And I truly mean it, without any overhype or with an intention to be super dramatic about it. And I'm actually at like 50% of getting to the monetization status, which will help me or unlock the possibility to make some money from this YouTube channel. So in this video, I want 100% transparently talk about the reality of what it's like to start a YouTube channel and also what it's like to be already a few months in when the initial motivation from the start can drop off. I will share all the challenges and fears I had at the very beginning and more importantly how I managed to solve them and how I plan to solve my current challenges which I still have as a new YouTuber. So let's dive deeper into the first part, which is fears and challenges at the very beginning or before starting a new YouTube channel. The very first challenge I think 95% of people who wants to start a new YouTube channel has is the fear of what others will think of you. And this couldn't be more true in my case too. I used to overthink what others will think of me when they will find out that I have a brand new YouTube channel or that I'm that guy who creates awkward videos on the internet. Well, if that's your case too, let me give you a few tips to overcome this. Firstly, it's really mind-freeing and helpful to imagine that no one really cares about you. And actually, you don't need to just imagine it because it's true. I mean, those people who care about you the most, like your family and close friends, I think those people will rather reach out to you and kindly cheer for you, or maybe they will say, you know, Dominic, you can improve this and that, but they don't go to social media and share your videos and like brag about them. Look at Dominic, he's just starting a YouTube channel, he's so bad, like go hate him or something like that. That's never going to happen, right? And I'm saying it out loud like this so you can hear how unreal it is and how unlikely that is to happen. And then there is this small little part of people who might not like your videos or you as a person. And then you really need to ask yourself a question, how big power do you want to give those people? Like how big power you want to give them over your life if they will decide that you will not pursue something you love or something you're curious about, whether it will be creating YouTube videos or anything else. So how big power you want to give those people over your life? This is the question you need to answer. Because most of the time, I think those people will never understand why you do that, why you decided to start a new YouTube channel or basically anything else. They will not understand your overall approach to life, maybe. And I think that is completely okay. And you just need to realize that you're doing it for you, not for them. And one last tip, I highly recommend this book, The Courage to be Disliked. It's really powerful and I think the title of the book perfectly summarizes my whole point, that you need to be able to be disliked by a few people and more importantly, show courage to do things you care about or you want to be doing. The second challenge is often what content I should create, and I will quickly reframe it to what content I want to create, because I think it's not about what content you should create, but rather what content you want to create. I think many people think about this initial question way too much, and including me, because I used to be big overthinker, and even though it's getting better and better, in the past, before I started this YouTube channel, I was overthinking what content I will be creating, what other people will say about that content, and even though I was doing all of this overthinking, it really slowed me down, and more importantly, I started this YouTube channel and then still changed the topic. So like all of this overthinking was, I would say, for nothing, because I still like changed my mind after a few videos. And just for context, my initial idea was that I will be creating content about Canva, because I used to work as a full-time employee at Canva, but it was rather about what content I should be doing or should be creating, but rather focusing on what content I want to be making. So this is something I realized after making first few videos, and I think this is something that can't be really transformed unless you experience it, unless you really try to make those first videos and then decide if it's for you or if it's not. So my whole point of this is that you don't need to have everything figured out at the very beginning or before you start. Just don't overthink it, and I think if this is going to be your first YouTube channel, you're still most likely gonna change your topic or your format of your content. So just go out there, experiment, create the first few videos, and then you can decide. It is totally okay, and I would even say the best approach approach you can choose. And I think you will be in much better position because you will know what it's like to create this type of content or this type of content, and then you can actually decide. And you can also always hide or delete your first videos as I did. So there's really nothing to be worried about, and just don't overthink it. Next challenge I want to talk about is how to get your first views and subscribers, especially in the situation when you don't want to tell your friends or family that you started a new YouTube channel. Well, I think first and the most important thing you should focus on is the packaging, meaning thumbnail and title. And I'm sure you heard this already, but video packaging is from 99% the reason you also watch any videos on YouTube. So it's really crucial and it plays a huge role, especially at the beginning of your YouTube journey. So it's really crucial, and you should always start your videos with this part. I mean, you get the idea for the video first, but then your next step should be into packaging, and you should be really focusing on creating proper thumbnail and title of the video. For example, in my case, if I'm not able to create some sort of thumbnail for the video I have in my mind, I just don't make it. It's really that simple. I just don't make that video, because even if I put Spielberg's video behind this thumbnail and title, no one would watch it. So that's the point. So don't be afraid to spend a lot of time in this stage before you actually move into scripting, recording or anything else. I personally spend a few hours, and I always create at least 2 or 3 variants for the thumbnail, so I can change it if it doesn't perform well after publishing the video. And I have 2 concrete tips for creating thumbnail and title. Firstly, when you're browsing YouTube and you open some video and watch it, try to stop yourself and realize what was the thing that made you click. Like, obviously it was the thumbnail and title, but what was the thumbnail like, what was the title, and try to reverse engineer that thumbnail and maybe inspire yourself. And secondly, keep in mind that your thumbnail and title should always bring some question to your viewer, meaning the thumbnail and the title is interesting or intriguing enough that the viewer wants to find out more. Challenge number 4 is how to accept that your videos suck. Simply said, you put hours of work and effort and energy into making one video, then you publish it, and then you get like 15 views. It is frustrating and discouraging because you put a lot of energy into one video, into one thing, and you even somehow think the video is good enough, and then you get nothing back. Or even worse, you get something back. Basically YouTube telling you, well, your videos are just not good enough and no one wants to watch them. And that is not easy to accept, right? So I have a few tips for this situation as I've been there. So firstly, try to set goals which are under your control and that are not related to subscribers or viewers count. Because that is something you can accomplish and which you have under control, and basically by doing it repeatedly, you will eventually get higher views and subscribers. Secondly, try to take each video as an experiment to try or learn something new. What I mean by that is basically if one of your videos will have bad results, then you can say, okay, this intro or this topic of this video wasn't good or interesting enough, let's try another one. I mean, don't quit YouTube just because one or few videos didn't perform or they get 0 or just a few views, because I think this YouTube game, it is supposed to be hard. It is supposed to learn you the patience and all the necessary skills which will eventually help you to thrive in the long run. Now let's go into the second part, which are challenges I currently have a few months into being on this YouTube journey. I think those challenges are almost inevitable for any aspiring creators, possibly including you as well. So the challenge number 5 is learning to be 100% authentic in your videos. This has been a huge challenge for me, especially at the start in my first couple of videos, where as I wanted to be perfect before the camera, it was almost like I was performing. I mean, I wasn't lying or trying to be someone else, but for example, as I'm not a native speaker in English, I try to speak super fast. I just read or tell the script word by word with all the time looking like a robot into camera and all of this stuff. And it just came out as not natural and definitely not authentic. Basically, it wasn't like me sitting here kind of chilled with just some bullet points and some prepared sentences I want to talk about. So I find out that by actually being super authentic and transparent in my videos, that it is much more comfortable for me, but also it is helpful and better for the viewer. Because I think that's the only way how you can stand out from the crowd, from the other people, or basically from the AI in the future. Because all those little imperfections make only one version of you, and that should be your ultimate goal for your content, like to building it around you and showing your true personality. Because in general, people like people, and by showing your true self, you actually giving them the reason to like you rather than hiding everything and not giving them the reason to like your weird stuff or good stuff or anything. So I think this approach is the only way how you can basically stand out in the long run and also be comfortable in creating content, because it will be truly yourself. And I think this authentic approach is much more sustainable in the long run as well. And I talk about this authenticity issue in this video which I made after being 6 months on YouTube, where I go through my analytics and all of this stuff as well. So if you're interested, here's the link. Another challenge which I'm dealing with right now is building systems so I can be consistent in creating. What I mean by that is that I'm trying to remove friction and also scale my day-to-day operation and task so I can post new video every week. Because YouTube is definitely not the only thing I do in my life, and I have limited time capacity for it. So I'm in that stage where I need to think, like, for example, today I'm creating this video and I'm not recording just one, but I'm recording two. So I can leverage everything I did before, like for example, preparing the light, the camera and all the other stuff. So basically I'm trying to get most out of everything I do at once. So for example, I have one dedicated recording day, I have dedicated days for like idea generation for new videos, editing and all of this stuff. And after making these changes, I don't spend my time on repetitive tasks, or like I'm more effective because I do things at once and I'm not jumping around like from one thing to another. So I highly recommend building your own systems early on, because it can give you leverage, it can give you more free time actually, and I think in the long run it will help you to be more effective and consistent, as I mentioned. Challenge number 7, and basically key to everything I'm talking about today, is finding your true why for doing YouTube. Because at this point, like after 6 months, you should already know and feel how you enjoy making videos, how you enjoy being on YouTube, and if this is the right path for you. And if the answer is yes, I think this part is really crucial for you setting a goal which is infinite and which also brings you joy. Let me explain that. I realized I really like learning myself new stuff, then trying them, experiment, for example running a first marathon, and then I'm super authentically sharing what I learned, what I did wrong and all my findings to my past version of me. Because there are plenty of people who are in the same position as I was 6, 12 or 20 months ago. So this is my kind of infinite game which I'm trying to play here on YouTube. I'm enjoying improving myself, but also educating others through the stuff which I experiment in the past or which I learned in the past or just a few months ago. And by doing this for a long time, I simply believe good things will happen, because if I will do that repeatedly and I will keep improving myself and trying to educate others, I just believe that this is good long-term strategy, and me and also the viewers will benefit from it. And the most important part is that this won't really change whether I have 300 subscribers or 10,000 of them, because I wanted to be creating videos since the primary school. I just didn't know how, and I didn't know that I don't need to be good to start, but rather start to be good. So try to find your biggest why. Think about your ideal day or ideal week. Does it include, for example, recording videos or sharing something you've learned with others? If yes, dig even deeper and find your true reasons why you're gonna stay on this journey when you will be already a few months in and you're gonna publish a video and it will get 30 views. Or basically when things get hard and you will see no sign of success. The next challenge is the fact that this YouTube journey can be also really lonely. And to be more specific, I don't really have close friends who create on YouTube or do something similar. And as I also do all the work on my own, like recording those videos, it can be pretty solo experience. Because even for me, as I'm introverted person and I like to be alone, that's the place where I thrive and where I get energy back. So even through that, it can feel for me a little bit lonely, and I know it can be hard for someone else who's more like extroverted person, so I just wanted to mention that as well as a challenge. And if you have a friend or anyone else also creating on YouTube with whom you can share all the knowledge, experience, emotions, I think that is truly a jackpot, because you can make yourselves accountable and support each other during hard times. Challenge number 9 is learn to enjoy the journey. The most crucial part of all the challenges is learning to actually enjoy all the previous challenges I mentioned, because without them it wouldn't be the same, it wouldn't be worth it. And I believe if you really find your true why, as I mentioned earlier, and you will play the infinite game by actually enjoying the journey. I'm not saying all of it, but majority of all the stuff that are connected to be a YouTuber or creator in general, then you're the real winner. Because that way you will be able to do this for 5, 10 or 20 plus years, and it is almost inevitable that you will become great on this platform and also as a person in your life. So keep in mind that all the struggles and all the challenges I mentioned, they are here for a reason. Let me know in the comments what are your biggest challenges. I hope this video was helpful and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers!